everyone, how are you doing? I hope you are doing well and looking fabulous in your mask. So let's get started on today's makeup mask tutorial. I bought some new colors from Ulta, so this shall be fun. This shall be fun. I got a new palette, Morph, so we'll use that. But I've been thinking a lot lately about masks and going back to school and all those things, and lately I've been thinking a lot about certainty and uncertainty, and I think I don't know if it's a human desire or many people desire certainty. With 5-year plans and knowing what's going on with their life, and being able to plan, being able to predict what's going to happen. And here comes Corona, and it messed that all up. I don't actually think it actually took away our certainty, but I think it showed us that certainty is definitely more of an illusion in our lives than it really is. I mean, you think about it, before Corona, you still weren't guaranteed your next breath. Life would throw a curveball, is like what we say, and a curveball, maybe that's just another way to say that's our way to say, well, we want to have certainty, we want to control our lives more, but so it throws us a curveball, when the truth is there isn't any certainty. Death happens, divorce happens, breakups happen, sickness happens, all kinds of things happen that will mess up any of those plans. But we still hold to this wanting or need of certainty, and it's not there. And that's what Corona came in and did, and showed us that we don't have the certainty that we think we have. But people still want the certainty. They want it. I hear it. I just want to know when this is over. I just want to know when we can go back. I just want to plan my life again. I just, and I get it. We want certainty. We want to make predictions. But at the same time, this is life telling us that's not how it works. And it's hard. It's really hard. Learning to be comfortable with that uncertainty, growing comfort with that. But it's a huge life skill. I mean, massive life skill to learn that if you can, unattach from this need of certainty. Experts talk about it a lot, about living in the moment, because you can't predict the future and the past is over. And there's that lovely saying that says, if you're stuck in the past, you live in depression. If you're stuck in the future, you live in anxiety. Because neither one of those exist, and so it affects your emotional well-being to live in those places. But so I get it. I do. It's hard. It's not easy. But in some ways, oh my gosh, look at that pink. Oh, it's lovely. Living in the moment is one of the best ways to do that and explore, this absolute moment. Not like some kind of ideal moment that you have in your head of the life that you want to be living, but live the life that is right in front of you. This very moment, live it fully to the best of your ability. Yes, that's different than how we've lived in our life in the past. Without Corona, our lives are very different right now. This is very true. I'm not going to say it's not. But figuring out how to live in this moment of this time with the restrictions that we have, the uncertainty we have, and still live the best life we can. Like, that's a gift, it's a lesson, it's powerful. It will take us through so many things in life, so many hard and difficult things to be able to learn that lesson. It's really powerful, I think, just to be able, and I'm not saying I'm great. I spend hours writing about it and thinking about it and contemplating how do I become more comfortable with the uncertainty, with not being in control. How do I do that? How do I live differently? So I'm blending now. You know, how do I come to terms with all of this? How do I do this? I don't know. I sit with it. I sit with the discomfort. I write. I explore it a lot. I'm just going to take some lighter color back up here because that pink is spreading. It's spreading like wildfire. Wildflowers, how's that? I sit with it. I try and acknowledge, yeah, this is different. My life is so different, you know. Typically I would be on some kind of road trip right now, exploring somewhere, and yet here I am doing a makeup tutorial from my backyard. But it doesn't mean that I've stopped living. I am discovering more and more about my backyard and the nature that's within it and everything. I mean, last night I heard these beautiful crickets. So I have a grape arbor that I sit under every day, and these crickets were fantastic. It was a chorus, like all around me. There was multiple crickets and katydids all singing, and sometimes they'd all sing together and in unison, and it was like synchronized and perfect. And then all of a sudden it would like switch and be like call and response and just rhythmic, and it was fantastic. And I got to sit there and thoroughly enjoy that moment with these crickets in my own backyard. That was a fantastic gift. And so, you know, I sit there and look, and I read. The other thing is I read a lot. Like I read, you know, I guess I am also looking for answers or understanding, maybe not answers, understanding of what's going on. I realize like there's not a lot of answers at this point in time. The science behind this is changing, and people are learning and studying, and we're seeing the messiness of science right now, like of when science is really in action as people are learning about science. We're seeing this messy, you know, they don't have the answers kind of science. And so we're seeing that right now, in action, happening. You know, they're growing. And, you know, like, I think part of it too is like when you learn science in school, like high school, middle school and stuff, you're studying things that have been studied for years and years and years, and there's a lot of science that's already been done about it, right? So things seem really concrete and certain and known as you study, you know, like say you study dinosaurs or say you study, it seems like it's all really solid, right? And really, you know, math behind it, chemistry, we understand electrons and neutrons and positrons and ions and things like that. So you understand all of it, and it feels really like the answers are there in a lot of ways. It's really concrete and certain in a lot of ways, like especially like math feels really certain when you're doing the calculations. But we tend to study things that are like, I don't know, really established science, you know, like yes, they might still study, and if there's any breakthroughs, it's, you know, they have to go rethink and ask new questions and do new things. But we don't get a lot of viewing of science, new science that's like going on right now, studying, so here we are in this case. We're, beginning of August, the disease, was first heard about in November or December in China, and then, it's March before it starts to really make its way into the US. That's not a lot of time. March to August for learning and science and all of these things. So we're seeing the really messy process of science that, like, there's experiments and questions, and every time there's a new fact that's asked, a new fact or new idea that's found, that brings up new questions, and they have to study more, and it just, and there's nothing concrete. There's nothing certain coming out of the science. It's a process. New questions. The understanding is getting deeper. It's expanding. The breadth of it is growing. But there's not certainty that we're used to seeing, like in the science that we study in school. So, and we're craving certainty. And so now we go to these scientists and say, well, give us an answer. When are we going to have a vaccine? When are you going to fix this? When are we going to know, should we wear masks? Should we not wear masks? Are kids going to spread the disease? Are kids not going to spread the disease? And each study they do brings in new findings and new understandings and new questions. But are there absolute answers? No, there's not. We're not really, we're getting a deeper understanding and learning, okay, well, it looks like it's an airborne disease, but it's not airborne in that it's spreading massive wide distance in the air. It's being passed by respiration droplets. It's maybe aerosolizing a little bit in the air directly around you, so then it can expose those in your immediate vicinity if the air is not moving and things like that. So they're learning all of this, but the answers are changing. So even up front, they're like, well, we're not 100% sure about masks. We don't know if they're 100% effective, what kind of effectiveness they do, and that knowledge has changed over time. And now they're like, well, with this being a more airborne based disease, masks are really important because they contain our air and those molecules of the virus closer to us. That doesn't mean it's absolutely 100% for sure. They're not saying that. They're saying we're seeing evidence that this is showing. There's no concrete answers yet. They're still studying and trying to understand more. And here I am talking too much and not putting on my makeup. So we're just going to put on some eyeliner. I really like this pink. I really do. So we're just going to put on some eyeliner now. I just have my liquid liner. So scientists are coming in and saying, this is our recommendation on the current science that we have. But that doesn't feel concrete. That's like, well, it's only a recommendation. Don't you have the answers? And people want answers. They want, when is this going to be over? How do I fix this? How do I make this better? Oh, hi, Luna. Who are you barking at? Luna. Hey. I can't even control my dog. I can't get her to stop barking. So, yeah, people want answers, and they, are looking to the leaders and to the scientists for answers. And the guidance has changed. It's not been consistent. And we as, I think, humans want, consistency. We want solid things. We want things to be certain. And we're not dealing with certainty now. And it's very difficult. I see it even in the discussion about wearing masks. I've talked about it here. People want to control something. So a way of controlling that is not wearing a mask or wearing a mask. So that's a one way, is to look at little things that you can control or can't control, that you're claiming this is my right, or this is not my right, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's still going back to like, I'm trying to control something because everything is so uncertain. So yeah, there's that emotional thing, but like, and I think people are also like, well, it's always changing, and there's so many mixed information, and I don't know, what's the right information and things like that. And everything just feels unknown. And so you start to doubt everything too. It creates a level of doubt, of like, what can I understand? And I think first off, like, to help that is to say, like, nothing's concrete. Nothing is certain right now. We are learning this as we go along, and somehow trying to find a way to find some comfort in uncertainty. Comfort with uncertainty will help. But also, like with the science and understanding that it's changing and it's not concrete, I think will also help relieve some frustration and anger. Like, well, these are the scientists, these are the experts. Why don't they have the answer? Well, they're learning. They're asking the questions, they're doing the studies, they don't have the concrete information. And each time they do a different study and it gets reviewed, they learn new things and their knowledge expands and things like that. But that leads to confusion for people, especially people who want certainty, and are used to seeing science as being kind of concrete and certain when it's not. And so now we see the messiness of science, and we see it changing, and we can see, different studies saying different things. So I guess the one thing I'll say is, like, if you want to understand the science, like, go to the journals, go to the peer-reviewed journals. If you're not a scientist, it can be very hard to read the methodology and things like that and understand that if you're not completely familiar with science. So then you go to journalists who are specialized in science, who can break it down into a language that is more palpable for a general audience. But how do you know that's real and good and wonderful? Well, I think my eyeliner's running out of ink. Is you got to check their sources. You have to make sure that they are going to the scientific journals, that they're reaching out to the scientists. I gotta find another black something here to work with, because this ain't working. This ain't working right now. So we gotta find some black that will work. We'll try this one. How's that? We're gonna try this one right now. 'Cause I'm struggling here. Trying to get some eyeliner on. This is not a liquid liner, so it will be softer. And I drew too far up that one line, but that's okay. So make sure you know your sources, and if they're a reputable news source, they're going to tell you what journal, what study, they're going to cite the study, and they're going to list who their sources are and what their education and things like that is. And you can always go and research, is this a reputable news source? And if you want a quick shortcut, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Hill, the Atlantic, the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, like, these are all LA Times, Chicago Times, Chicago. These are all like really big. San Francisco Chronicle. They are national newspapers. I mean, they have regional things, but they have ethical codes and guidelines that they have to follow, and they are doing good journalism. And even if they're doing an analysis, they will be clear and transparent about their sources, clear and transparent about their arguments and things like that. So please don't discount something just because the science is uncertain, and not final and not concrete, and things are still being learned. The understanding is growing, and that's the nature of science. It is very, very messy, and we're seeing the messiness of it real time right now. So don't let that get in your way of having understanding and being able to read the science and understand the science. That will help you. So you might not have the answer. You probably won't have the answer. And I don't have the answer. I can tell you, okay, on July 21st, 2021, this will all be over. If anyone says that, they're full of shit, because nobody has that answer right now. Nobody has that kind of understanding or detail, or the science isn't there. So the best thing I can do is say, wear your mask, keep some physical distance. Don't be antisocial, but keep some physical distance, and rock your mask with some fabulous mask makeup. That's my advice. And practice to be comfortable with uncertainty, because right now lots of things are uncertain, and the truth is things are always uncertain. We've created an illusion of certainty to make us feel more comfortable in our lives, that we can plan and we can do things based on what has always been. But it really is an illusion, and that's what Corona has come in and done, is shown that as an illusion. So be well, love y'all, take care of yourselves, and rock that mask. Bye.